They just made up an amount of reported wages, an amount of reported withholding, and hey, IRS, give me back that withholding you took out.
Many of you raced to get your federal tax refund filed last week. Tonight, an exclusive 5 on Your Side investigation reveals prison inmates are also filing and getting bigger refunds than you are. Good evening, I'm Lee Jordan.
And I'm Danita Harris. 5 on Your Side Chief Investigator Ron Regan tells us the IRS has known about it for years.
Well, we've been tracking this story closely since 2005, but 9 years later, inmates continue to rip off honest, hard-working taxpayers. Behind locked bars, we found prison inmates claim nearly $4 billion in fraudulent IRS refunds.
I started actually back in 1990.
It includes 186,000 phony claims filed in 2011.
We use thousands and thousands of people's names and numbers that never knew that we was filing taxes.
The latest figures released by the Inspector General for Tax Administration. Jackie Reardon.
It happens every filing season.
He's a former IRS criminal investigator.
Once you've actually gotten money, gotten a refund for a fellow inmate, word spreads pretty quickly that, you're the person to go to.
Inmates like Brandon Mace. While locked up inside the state prison in Lorraine, Mace claimed a whopping $5.5 million in phony refunds over 2 full years. The IRS sent one check to a post office box Mace created. John Siegel is a federal prosecutor.
He had timed it so he could pick it up after he got out of prison. He got out of prison. By the time he got there, the post office had sent the check back, and it was a $207,000 check IRS had, the Treasury Department had issued.
Siegel also prosecuted Michael Murdoch, a convicted killer.
There were 77 returns claiming about $83,000. There were another 20 returns which were about to go out.
Ronald Wells was also serving time for murder. The IRS sent Wells refund checks totaling more than $56,000. In 2009 alone, more than 1,400 Ohio inmates filed fraudulent claims. So how easy is it? We reached Dwayne Selvey inside the federal prison where he's locked up again after violating parole.
It was about one of the easiest things I've ever done in my life.
Selvey claims he spent years ripping off taxpayers to the tune of nearly $4 million, right from his jail cell tax office.
When I first started off, I didn't even use a W-2 form. I just used a piece of paper and wrote down like I was the owner of the company.
And lived it up after being released.
A few Cadillac Escalades was bought. A couple lake homes. Well, I probably spent $50,000 just on clothes and stuff.
We found the IRS was first warned back in 2005. It needs to do more to stop millions in fraudulent refunds. According to this Inspector General report, the agency declined a request for an interview. But just this past February, the Inspector General for Tax Administration issued a new warning. Prisoner fraud remains a significant problem, and found there are still no agreements in place to share prisoner information between prisons and the IRS. The IRS says it's waiting for prisons across the country to sign agreements that will help it track inmate fraud. The agency says it stopped $2.5 billion in fraudulent refunds in 2012, 10% more than the year before. But no one with the IRS would talk with us on camera. I'm Chief Investigator Ron Regan.